Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Amphibia. Sorry, Amphibia Season 3 Episode 1, and it's called The New Normal. And don't worry, I have a clip for it, and this is a double episode, so I'm really hoping I get Episode 2 done today. Also, I have a clip for Hop Till You Drop, but I don't have a clip for what's it called? Turning Point, which is just kind of disappointing because Turning Point is like the Sasha episode. So, but you get what you get. But and also, even though you're probably not gonna see in the video, but I'm gonna mention I had to go to like a different clip because there's like 4 different clips I have to get to. So if you see me say that, that's basically what I'm talking about. But without any more dilly dallying, I know it kind of took us a while to get here. Not too long, but I had my monthly update for May. I had me reviewing to the season 3 opener. I had what I wanted to see for season 3. The trailer. So yeah, I had to get through all of that stuff to get here. And now we're here for episode 1, and looking at the shot, we are at East LA. And yeah, okay. So first things first, where we left off in True Colors, we were on that guy's car, and then all the planters are waking up. Anne has her backpack on with Frobo's head. You kind of see his like face and mouth. And I think his eyeball a little bit, but and basically they're like, "Oh my goodness, what is that?" And for the trailer, you saw that thing at the car wash. It's kind of wiggly. Paul's like, "What the heck is that thing?" And Spring's like, "Oh, that flying machine is so loud, and it's an airplane." And Hopup's like, "What is this place?" And Anne's like, "We are on the freeway. Let's get out of here." And basically they all leave, and they get to this I guess we call it like a staircase, basically, to get to like the different part of the city, I think. And they're all like, they ran over here, so they're like, whew. But they're like turning around and looking, and they're like, whoa. And I just want to play this right here. This is really cool. And we saw like that big, like, what I say, that big wide view of we're no longer in Amphibia, we are on Earth, East LA. And then Spray like, whoa. And Anne's like, am I dreaming? Because Anne's been gone for 6 months. Yeah, like, she probably thinks about home like probably every night or every other night. She's thinking, am I dreaming? But obviously we know she isn't. And then Anne's like, there's only one way to know for sure. She goes for a backpack, and she gets her phone, and she clicks on it, and look, it's like low battery, and you see Anne, Sprig, and Polly. Oh no, Hop. Oh, I think maybe it got cut out. Well, look, it says like no service. Oh, it says 542. Oh, it's like no service. And then, 5G basically. And I'm gonna play this right here too. It's pretty funny. Okay, I don't want to play too much. Yeah, this is kind of it's a very short clip. Do I want to get the birds? No, I won't get the birds. So I'll leave it right here, and she's like, "I'm home," and you see the birds fly by, and this is I'm not doing like a part 2 or anything, but it's basically me saying that I need to go to the next clip. So I'll see you guys in a little bit, but you won't see any time passing because the videos will be stuck together. And I know I don't have to tell you guys any of this, but I like to keep like a behind the scenes kind of feel where this is like what's happening. But anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. Okay, and where we left off, and um, I'm not gonna try to explain it again. Basically, so we left where Anne says, I'm home, and we have look at Profobo, he's dead, but maybe we can rebuild him. Oh yeah, that it was shown in the trailer, but basically we have Polly, and remember she grown legs. So Polly's like legs, and you basically see Hop Hop and Sprig all looking around like, what the heck. And this is kind of, I know Sprig is new to this world, but wouldn't wouldn't Anne have explained to Sprig what mailboxes were if mailboxes weren't a thing already in this world? Because we've seen in spoilers for season 2, episode 1, that was a while ago, where Anne was barbed wiring the mailbox. Shouldn't Sprig know what a mailbox is? I know it looks different. It's made of metal or aluminum. I'm not sure. I know his was made out of wood, but it looks similar. With even the I don't know what you call it. The I don't know. It basically tells you when your mail's here. That red thing. I don't know what it's called. The lever. I don't know what it's called. Lever. But I know they're trying to make Sprig look funny because they're like, oh look, Sprig is rummaging through people's mail. But shouldn't Sprig know what a mailbox is? I think I'm giving a complaint. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, Sprig's kind of being funny. But when I was actually thinking about going back into season 1 when I was doing my reviews, I was like, oh yeah, Sprig does have a mailbox. Unless you've never seen it. But it's right in front of your house. How could you not have seen it? Yeah, I'm sorry, Sprig. Point out for you. But he's basically rummaging through people's mail and stuff. And then he's like, oh, buns everywhere. Okay, they do not have this. So this makes sense. Okay, Sprig, you're making sense again. And then he's like, ah! And then he goes inside this thing. He's like, oh, this water dungeon. Back in season 2 in Marcy at the Gates, they had a sewer grate. It was bigger and there was an alligator in there. Shouldn't Sprig recognize this as that? Oh, it was like a frog hole, but it's called like a water dungeon. Unless in Utopia they put people and prisoners down there, but I don't think they did. It was just that alligator or crocodile. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was an alligator. So yeah, Sprig, you should know. I know it's smaller, but Sprig should know what that is. So yeah, Sprig's not really off to a good start. But Hop's basically saying like, "Oh, careful, boy! Like no telling what type of dangers this world has." And Hop's like, "Oh, hey Anne, what's the plan? So much has happened in the last few hours." Yeah, no kidding. And even Hop says, "Hey, do you think Marcy is?" Anne interrupts him. And don't do that. I don't like it when good people interrupt good people. But look, this must be after the third temple, the dinner or battle of the bands, because they changed outfits and stuff like that. So they're like in their regular clothes. Anne's in her original clothes. You know what I mean. But Anne's like, oh, because Marcy. Sorry. Hop says, oh, do you think Marcy is? And Anne interrupts, saying like, oh, she's alive, Hop. I just know she is. And I guess this is kind of spoiler for like the rest of the season, where Anne basically says like, oh, she's alive, Hop. And I was like, I was just waiting. I was just waiting for when Anne was just gonna break down tears, thinking Marcy's actually dead, and like actually like, breaks down and actually accepting it, and she was like in denial. But again, spoilers. We get to a point where she was confirmed to her that no, Marcy is alive. So Anne was just in her heart thinking that Marcy was alive, but then I was kind of thinking after that moment. I'm not gonna say what episode it is because that's too much spoilers. I'm not gonna say what episode that is, but I was kind of thinking, Anne, what's dead to you? Blood? Because you saw your best friend stabbed, her eyes rolled to the back of her head, and then collapsed. that's not dead enough for you? I guess maybe blood? Maybe Anne needs to see blood. I'm not sure. But geez, Anne, that's kind of gore much. But again, this is kind of my complaint throughout season 3. It was like, Anne really never thought for a second that Marcy could be dead. I thought she was in denial, and there's gonna be a big thing, a big episode. Like her arc maybe coming to like a breaking point, but no, they didn't really do that. Oh well. I just thought I should let you know now so you don't get disappointed later. Like, really, after, I'm not gonna say what episode, so much episodes. So I'm gonna clear the air for that right now. So, Anne still thinks Marcy's alive. Lame. I know. I want her alive too, but again, what's dead to Anne? But, and Anne's like, despite that or not, we had to find a way home. By back to Amphibia. Obviously, they're here for it. And look at Polly with her legs. It looks really funny. And they're like, yeah. And Anne's like, okay, but first things first. And then they, look at Sprig. Oh, poor Sprig. And then, hey, look at Anne's house. And then Sprig's like, hey, Anne, is this your... And then, and Anne's like, my house. Sprig didn't finish his sentence, but Sprig didn't really seem offended by it either. I think I might be taking off too many points this episode, so I might let that one go. Who knows? But Anne's like, oh, this is really happening. I get to see my parents after so long, and I love Sprig. He's like, oh, look at Sprig. He's like so concerned for Anne. He's like trying to put a happy face. He's like, okay, so is it too early to call them mom and dad? Because back in season 2, if you didn't really see that episode, spoilers, Sprig and Polly's parents were killed by herons and stuff. I'm so kind of waiting for that episode where in the trailer they were carrying Domino and you see that giant heron. Are Sprig, Polly, and Hop Pop gonna die that episode? I don't know, but who knows? But in Sprig's like, do we call them mom and dad, or do we call them Mr. and Mrs. Boonchuy? Are they tongue people? Yeah, no, they're not. But Sprig is trying to be polite. And Anne's like, you guys should probably hide in here. I want to ease them into all this slowly. And yeah, like, it is a lot. Talking giant frogs. Yeah, except for Polly, really. And Anne's like, I'll give you a signal, like, caca, like, a bird noise. Like, do not come out until you hear that. And they hop up, go into the recycling bin. And I just want to play this right here.
Oh, and I'm not going to tell them I plan to go back and stop Andreas. Or that Andreas betrayed us. Or that Marcy did. Or that Sasha did. And not a word about my weird glowing blue powers. Wow, there's a lot going on.
I just wanted to play that because, like, that is a lot. Because he's like, I am not going to mention I'm going back to Amphibia. Or stopping King Andreas. Or that King Andreas betrayed us in the first place. Or that Marcy did. Or that Sasha did. And nothing but my glowing blue powers. And it's like, look at Anne right there. That is a lot. Oh my goodness. Like, handling Sasha, handling Marcy, handling the King. Oh my goodness. And powers? I have powers? Like, what the heck? And even Sprig, remember Sprig almost died? Sprig's like, powers? What? And Polly's like, it was a thing. And Hop Pop's like, oh, don't worry, Anne, we'll figure it out. And Anne's like, okay. And I love Polly right here. Polly's a good older sister. He's like, don't worry, Frobes. Like, that's a little nickname. It's Furby right there. And then, don't worry, Frobes. Anne has super wicked technology. Like, you will be able to fix you up in no time. And it's on fire. Oh my goodness. And they have a welcome sign. It looks really good. The type of calligraphy, I guess I should say. And it's like, okay, time to do this. And, oh, look at that right there. And, oh, look at Domino 1. And, there's the clock right there. And, oh, this must have been like their wedding, or maybe they're on vacation, honeymoon. And look at Anne right there. And Anne, probably 12, 11, I should say. Because she looks kind of tall, but she just turned 13 in the beginning of season 1, so pre-season 1, I guess I should say, like a couple days, I guess a couple days to like a week she turned 13, so she's obviously not 13 there, so like 11, 12 maybe, who knows. And look at Anne's mom. Oh, she looks so sad. And if you guys didn't know, the creators, the creator Matt Brawley, his mom, your mother, actually plays Mrs. Boonchuy, so which is really nice. She didn't, have to do that. Matt could have gotten like any other person, but it meant a lot to him, and I heard that both of them had a really good time doing this, so that's awesome. So if you guys didn't know, but okay, let's see. Brown hair, yellow, golden earrings, and is that a sweater? I think it's part of a sweater. Okay, I just because we really haven't seen their designs before. I just pointing it out because I think it did it for Hop Hop, Polly, and Sprig back in season 1, right? In the first episode. Please tell me if I did or didn't. Either way, I just want to do it for Mrs. Boonchuy. Anyway, and then Miss Boonchuy kind of looks up because Anne's knocking, and Miss Boonchuy is like, I'm coming. And, she opens the door. And Anne's basically like, hi mom. I just want to play this right here because I'm kind of getting the hi mom out of there so I can get more of the clip. But look at this.
What was that noise? Everything okay?
Dad!
Anne, you're back. You're safe.
Oh my goodness! You obviously see right there Comic-Con 2021. It was like a exclusive thing, which is really nice that they were able to do. And oh, Anne's back basically because it was a while. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh my goodness! And the voices, I really liked the voices because there was actually a thing, if you didn't know, back in season 1 in Reunion, there was a line of Mrs. Boonchuy saying, Anne, maybe you should find like new friends because Sasha, I don't really trust her, and that's where we're gonna get. I'm not sure if we saw his face, but that's before we saw Anne get on the bike to go to school. Like there was like an extra scene, but there wasn't enough time, so it was cool that we get to hear Mrs. Boonchu's voice here, and Mrs. Boonchuy just dropped the bowl, and then I'm not deducting the point because yeah, when your daughter's gone for 6 months and she's back, yeah, you want to drop everything, so. Yeah, so I'm totally okay with it. Just make sure you clean it up later. We're fine. And then Mr. Boonchuy was like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Because obviously, your wife kind of seems like Mr. Boonchuy kind of seems kind of depressed, looks sad, and you obviously hear something like drop, like, and she's like, "Are you okay?" But he sees Anne, and it's like, "Oh, Dad!" Like, "Oh, Anne, you're safe." And you hear like a meow. Oh, what's that? Oh, and Anne's like, "Oh, Domino, come here, my precious baby." And obviously Domino knows Anne, and oh, Anne's back. Basically, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't talk. And look at that. Oh, it's a really nice family moment. Like they're really glad she's back. And obviously Mrs. Boonchuy like, Anne, where have you been? Are you okay? Are you safe? Why is your hair a mess? I'm surprised she didn't mention her armor, but there's like a lot going on. And Anne's like, oh, it's like a lot going on. And there's like a bird, a raven, or something, blue jay. And he's like, rah! And then they're like, what the heck? Recycling bin, what the heck's going on? And Hop Hop has a banana peel on his head. He's like, we're the planters, the lovable frog family Anne's told you all about. I love Polly. She went out of the garbage can, and Sprig went off somewhere else. And then Polly's like, Hop Hop, that was not the signal. And Hop Hop's like, it sounded like the signal. And then Sprig's like, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Anne's parents. Like, he did, like, both of them. I'm sure Anne told you all about me. I'm Sprig Planter, Anne's lovable best friend, and walking, talking frog. And there's a fly that, oh, wait, sorry, what was it? There's a fly that went by, and, he just, you basically see him, like, swallow it. And Mr. Boonchuy basically like, fainted and like slapped herself like, oh my, look at Domino, what the heck? And you obviously the whole effect, and they're all freaked out. Like, what the heck? Okay, and time for me to go on to the next clip. Okay, we're back, and we just went back from Anne's dad, Mr. Boonchuy, basically fainting, and we basically have Anne here drawing of basically what happened, and you know, she started explaining, like, oh, like, there's like the ruler of Amphibia, basically, and why didn't she draw a newt for like King Andreas? Unless she doesn't want to talk about the newts at all, which does kind of make sense. She doesn't want to talk about Andreas because King Andreas basically killed Marcy, which should occur to her, but whatever. She almost killed Sprig. She almost killed he almost killed Polly. He did kill Frobo, so he done a lot. So it kind of makes sense. But that frog looks really well drawn. And then look at all of his diagrams and stuff like that. And they're basically inside Anne's house, basically. And Anne's like, where did I leave off? And obviously they're kind of freaked out, like, oh my goodness, like frogs are next to us and we're so squished on the couch. And Sprig's like, oh, we were at the third temple. And then Anne's like, right, thank you, Sprig. Okay, we just finished the third temple of charging the final stone, and and Marcy and Sasha, basically. And then basically we went to the king of Amphibia to send me home, but then the planters basically got trapped here too before anything else could happen. The whole scenario with Sasha and Marcy and King Andreas, that didn't happen. And they're like, yeah. Because they're keeping up with the eye to keep Anne happy, basically. And then Anne's like, they got trapped here. When I got sent home, they got trapped here too. And Anne's basically like, okay, like, you're all cut up. So we're just kind of, like, basically we already knew what happened to the audience, so we don't need to see, like, the whole full story. But basically, you're all cut up now. And, I just want to play this right here, and, I want to play this right here.
Hold on, back up. You're telling us there's a whole world of talking frogs called Amphibiland?
It's actually called Amphibia.
Which is kind of funny because the original show was actually supposed to be called Amphibiland, but Matt changed it to Amphibia. I don't really know the exact reason. I guess maybe he just thought it sounded better. But he's like, wait, Amphibiland? It's basically, no, it's Amphibia, basically. Okay, pretty cool joke. And then, Mrs. Boonchuy was like, wait, you made, larb with, maggots? Was it good? She's kind of interested. And then, Mr. Boonchuy was like, this is a lot to take in. I wish we were eased into it. Like,
Could have been eased into it.
That was an accident. Please do not deduct me. I did not mean to play that. But Anne gives Hop Up a look, and Hop Up, like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And Anne's like, please, can the planters, like, stay with me? Stay with us. Come, like, until we can find them a way home, can they stay? And obviously, Mr. Boonchuy was kind of shocked, and Anne's mom just kind of laughs it off. And obviously, Sprig and Polly kind of worried, like, where are we going to stay if we can't stay here? And then Mrs. Boonchuy was like, wait, are you serious? Are you serious, basically? And Anne's like, oh, come on, Mom. And then Mrs. Boonchuy's like, hey, Anne, come on, like, sorry. And Anne, your adventure's over. The planters got you here. Like, you're finally home. Sorry, excuse me. And Mrs. Boonchuy was like, your adventure's over, and like, you're finally home. You're finally safe. We finally know where you've been. And And basically, Mrs. Boonchuy basically says like, "Oh, the authorities can take care of your friends." And it's like, "The police? No, the government finds talking frogs. They will be probed and dissected and used for experiments." And then Polly's like, "And please do not let them take us." And Spirit's like, "Dissect what?" And then Hop Pop's like, "Can you go more into the probing part?" Like, oh my goodness, Hop Pop. And then, and then Anne gives them this like part of the trailer where Anne was like hugging them, and it's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna let no one's gonna stop me from helping you guys. Like you took me in when I was living in the cave." And obviously Mr. and Mrs. Boonchuy hear that, and they're kind of give each other a look, and then Mrs. Boonchuy kind of smiles, and then Mrs. Boonchuy's like, "Okay, they can stay, for now." And then obviously Anne hugs her mom like, "Thank you," because this is like her, her other family. This is her little brother, her little sister, her grandpa, basically. Which is kind of funny. That means he'll be in charge of Mrs. and Mrs. Boonchuy, but like not really. That's kind of funny. And then Mr. Boonchuy is kind of being kind of cautious. He's like, "Okay, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right. You all are on lockdown, basically." And I love this. Hop Pop's like, "Yeah, you heard the man. Like, you got it." And then Mr. Boonchuy kind of looks at Hop Pop like, and Hop Pop's like, "What?" This is supposed to be a callback back to the first episode where Hop Pop locked them in. I still think that was kind of harsh. With Mr. Boonchuy kind of makes sense. Yeah. The U.S. government with aliens. Yeah, that's some history. So it kind of makes sense why the Boonchuys would want the planters locked in here. It makes sense. So like you're under our supervision, basically. And I love the callback to Hop Pop. Again, still harsh, but they made reference to it. And then basically Anne's like, "Oh, come on, guys, let's have a quarantine, fun time where we can have fun inside," basically. And okay, time to get to the final clip. There's still more to the episode like to go on, so I'll talk about it in that clip like the rest, but then you get to the other one. Okay, we're back, and basically, Anne's like, "Oh, come on, guys, we can have a fun quarantine day," basically. And obviously, Sprig and Polly are excited, and they basically had a quarantine song, and and look at Anne's room. Sorry, maybe you can get a better view where Sprig and Polly Hop Hop. Okay, Anne's eye looks kind of weird. Okay, they all kind of look creepy stuff, but whatever. You basically see some Tide flags, maybe? You see a hat right there. You see like a bed lamp, a donut, her bed. There's obviously like a female tennis player, and Anne plays tennis, and I like her fan. It looks really cool. There's like a trunk with a sock on it. Some sort of boy band. Is this Super Mario Galaxy, or at least like a parody? Does Anne play that game? Awesome. Because Anne isn't really into too much video games. I've seen her play one game. It was like what was it? It's like a GameCube or something, and it was in a flashback in combat camp when she was. I wish Anne was paying attention in school. That's more important. But Anne was basically playing a GameCube. So, I guess she plays Super Mario Galaxy. But from the view of it, I see space. I see a floating island. I see green, earth in the bottom, fence, an orange mushroom maybe, and it's like a tiny island under it, and some like clouds. A Super Mario Galaxy. It might even be Super Mario Galaxy 7, maybe. Who knows? You see like a drawer right there with like a mirror. We see some nail polish, I think, and some stars in the ceiling. So, and that's a pretty cool room. It's basically saying they're locked up in the house, doing as they're told. They're basically told to lock up. And obviously, Anne's like, "Oh my goodness, my clothes." And she's trying on different outfits, basically. You're trying on my clothes that haven't been sold because, yeah, when you think your daughter's gone for like 6 months, my goodness. And then like she's like, Fear Me hat? I don't know what that is. A lot of people on the internet know what that is. I don't know what that is. But anyway. And you know, she's like, don't try on different shoes, and her one shoe comes off. And I just want to play this right here.
What the heck? Wow. I'm gonna microwave
I love this where you had like was it basically like a Garfield book, like I hate Mondays basically. And wait, did it say that, or I may have misread that? Can I get a good look of it? Oh, it says Monday Cat is a thumbs up. Oh, it's the opposite. That's why it's funny. Okay. And we always see Mr. Boonchuy get some lasagna. Maybe it's for Anne. And he's like, gonna microwave a book. Yeah, why not? Because Sprig doesn't understand what a microwave is. And obviously, your classic, the dad with like the newspaper gonna go to business in the potty. I mean, basically go to the bathroom to read. And obviously, like, oh, gonna use the indoor pond. Because, you know, frogs need water. And all, they're ribbiting, basically. And Polly's in the toilet. a nuka potato. Like, oh, like, see a bird. And you know, Mr. Boonchuy obviously closes the door because he doesn't want Polly to get out. And obviously, Polly's kind of upset about this because I want to look at the bird. But look at Anne right here. What are you doing? And it obviously see Domino smiling. I was like, oh, I was like, is this like a sneak attack? Because in the theme song, Polly was like attacking. Domino's like attacking Domino. Domino was attacking Polly. And Sprig is burning Anne's one shoe. Like, oh my goodness. Then we see Polly riding Domino. I guess this was like, you know, her way of teaching how to like tame an animal, which kind of makes sense. But why isn't Domino attacking Polly? That shouldn't in the theme song. That's kind of, you know, in the theme song we should have seen Domino kind of be interested in Polly, and later in the theme song Polly riding her. You know, that would have made more sense. Obviously, Polly's kind of like riding Domino like a horse, basically, kind of like woohoo, and I just want to play this right here. This is kind of cool. Oh wait, sorry. I don't want to play too much. But this is, I love how Anne's like a big sister because Polly's doing something reckless, and Anne's like, Polly, and this is actually the first time. So a couple things. We saw Polly kind of being reckless. We're seeing Anne's new outfit. You know, the Fire Lotus pink shirt, white shirt, pink sleeves, jeans, and the white and pink socks. You know, kind of like, and all the leaves and twigs are out of her hair, and she looks really nice. And she's like, oh, Polly, like, kind of like, be careful, basically. And Anne's like being a big sister. And Mrs. Boonchuy like has a first aid kit because Anne fell down. And obviously Anne's kind of concerned about that, like, Mom, I'm fine, basically. She didn't say that, but kind of implied. So there's a couple things. Anne's mom is overprotective. Anne is being a big sister to Polly, and Polly's getting used to having legs and stuff, and holding on to stuff. So that's pretty cool. Dougal. And basically you're doing secret research, purge the history. And on Dougal, Google how to defeat evil New King. And obviously we don't really see like what it shows up, and Sprig doesn't get Anne's phone. And obviously Mrs. Boonchuy kinda is checking on Anne to see what's going on, and obviously Anne closes the laptop kind of whistling. Sprig doesn't burn Anne's phone. And then Anne's like, Sprig. Like, no. And obviously Anne's looking outside, kind of thinking. Mr. Boonchuy obviously shuts it down. And Hot Pop's looking at Butterfly. And hey, look, pepper plant. Pepper tree. And obviously Mr. Boonchuy closes the door on Hot Pop, the slider door. This might be Mr. Boonchuy or Mrs. Boonchuy. Like, Sprig's looking outside, probably something cool, and grabs Sprig, like, nope. And obviously, there's like a message that goes on Anne's phone, maybe something about Andrews or something. Anne tries to go see what it is, and hey, look, Sasha Waybright and Marcy Wu. Oh, that's kind of cool. BFF. Did he scratch on Anne's wall? I mean, bed thing. Maybe Anne allowed it or something. And I think I need a little space, Mom. So that's pretty funny. And obviously, she's like, combing her hair, kind of being there for Anne, because maybe she thought I wasn't there for Anne, but that wasn't the point. Obviously, Anne's kind of nervously smiling. He's like, I don't want to disappoint my mom. Oh wait, sorry. And I guess I'll leave right there, which is cool. Like a nice shot of the house. And basically, what was it? Anne's getting ready for the day. She looks so tired, and she's about to brush her teeth. And Anne's mom has like this. I think it was like a toothpaste or something, toothbrush. And then she's like, Mom. She's like, okay, family meeting. And obviously, Mrs. Boonchuy was kind of thinking, where's Anne going? Because you disappeared. And Spring's like, oh, are we part of the family? Like, can I eat this candy? And it's like lipstick. Okay, Sprig, you've seen lipstick before because obviously Felicia and Sylvia wear lipstick, so yeah. No, I'm not buying it. And basically, sorry. I also like the not diffused, but basically it looks like the sunrise. Basically, like it's not like the middle of the day. It looks like the sun basically came out. So that looks really cool. And obviously everyone's in the family room, basically the living room. Mr. and Mrs. Boonchuy sitting on the couch, and it's like, guys, I know I've been gone, and I'm sorry about that, but I need a little space before I get crazy. And then basically Mr. Boonchuy, don't you think being a little carried away? And then Paul's like, swift kick, pff, sorry, new legs, you know how it is. And then Mr. Boonchuy, okay, continue, because Anne's like, yeah, we're getting cramped, basically. And let me and the planters out for an hour, and we'll be back, and everything will be fine. They're like, no way. And come on, it would just be for an hour. And then Mr. Boonchuy was like, Anne, the last time we let you go out for an hour, you were gone for 5 months. That kind of irked me a little bit because no, it was 6 months. But because if you do the calculations, 6. But unless if one of the characters said wasn't true, or if Marcy's calculations was incorrect, it wasn't like 2 months. Like it was like 1 month of Polly growing her legs, but that wouldn't really make sense either. So I wish he would have said 6 months, but whatever, it's 5 months. I'm still gonna say 6 months because that's what makes sense. It's what makes sense. But basically at the end, basically says I changed. And then Mr. Boonchuy is like, yeah, right. Like you're literally like the poster child for hating responsibility. And this is a little drawing Anne. I'm age 6 and I hate responsibility. And then Hop Hop tries to chime in for Anne. I love that. He tries the best he can. He's messing up. He's like, I'm basically Anne's granddad, and I kind of raised her too. I have grandkids myself. Like, that's not Anne. Like Sprig and Polly. I'm kind of a parent myself. Kind of getting to Mr. and Mrs. Boonchu's good side, kind of rubbing them the right way of who Hop Hop is. And he's like, hey, when Anne first got here, she was a monster. Like, frogs hated her, basically. Like, but she became a town protector. She became so responsible. She became Frog of the Year. She got nominated. We nominated for her, the whole town. Most of the town, apart from Mayor Toadstool, most of the town nominated her, and she got accepted. But did she burn the town? Yeah. Did she unleash a couple of monsters a couple of times? Sure. Did she try to kill us? Did she accidentally try to kill us a couple of times? Also, yes. And then Hop's like, what was I talking about? And then, obviously Mr. Boonchuy and Mrs. Boonchuy are taking that into account, and they're kind of thinking, and obviously Polly's kind of doing stuff to breakfast on the ground, and Anne's kind of stopping her, and obviously Anne's giving her a little pat. It's like, like a big sister. I love it because I think that's probably what Anne needed and what she has now: siblings, little siblings. And maybe the Mr. and Mrs. Boonchuy. I'm not sure they're gonna have another kid or anything, but it's kind of like this is good for Anne, basically. And Mrs. Boonchuy was like, I hate to admit this, but Anne seems really getting responsible. Like, you know, it could kind of seem like Anne patting Polly to make sure she's okay. Like maybe she kind of has changed a little bit. And Mr. Boonchuy was like, okay, if you're okay with this, hun, I'm okay with it. How about we go somewhere? And it's like, let's go to the market. And Mrs. Boonchuy was like, ooh, the market? There's like a lot of people there. And then, come on, Mom. And then Mrs. Boonchuy was like, well, Anne usually hates and begs me not to take her to the market because you have to help your parents with the groceries, basically. Like, you know, she used to beg me not to go there. Now she wants to go there. Kind of take this chance, like this opportunity. And Mr. Boonchuy was like, okay, we'll give this a try. But if any of you start acting froggy or go missing for too long or separate from us, basically, it's back to the lockdown and we're not doing this again because we obviously can't trust you. But we're going to try to trust you. And then obviously Anne's like, oh, thank you. And obviously it's like, oh, I'll give the planters like disguises and stuff. And this is where we get Sprig and Polly like in the trench coat. And it's like, Polly, I thought you were going to be in the top. It's like, no, I want to give these good legs some use. And then obviously Anne puts Hop Pop in that trench coat and the fake nose. And he's like, oh, my own little face bump, basically. Why didn't Sprig, I understand Polly because she's at the bottom, but how come Sprig didn't get a face bump? Because they weren't like a rush to like go down or anything. So because you're thinking, oh, Sprig was meant for the bottom, so it's obvious, you know, Anne didn't make one for him. But you made one for Hop Pop like a couple seconds. You could have made one for Sprig, whatever. But Hop Pop's like, oh, my little face bump, basically, my nose. And then, okay, time to go. And then, obviously, Polly's trying to work her legs. Sprig's trying to help, basically. They go to the van, and they're like, yeah, let's go to the market. And then, obviously, Mr. Boonchuy locks the door, and he's like, okay, you three, like, you know, let me tell you something, the rules. And that's supposed to, like, you know, say that he was kind of expecting Anne, Sasha, and Marcy. Because whenever they take them somewhere, they always get into trouble. But it's been like a couple days, right? So Mr. Boonchuy kind of knows his form. Like, you know, like, you kind of really should know that, but whatever. And he's like, okay, I mean, you four, like, listen up. You better stay together, or it's back to the lockdown. He said, oh, don't worry, Mr. Boonchuy, we'll be fine. And he said, okay, and they're unlocking it. They're all rushing out, they're messing up. And then Mrs. Boonchuy's like, this was a bad idea, wasn't it? And Mr. Boonchuy's like, yes, it was. But like, okay, come on, you have the faith in your daughter, but they're super worried. And then they go to the market, it's just like the most amazing thing ever. And they're like, oh. And obviously Mr. Boonchuy is looking for the list. No list. Back to the house, abort mission. And obviously Anne's being responsible. She's like, I took a picture of the list. I can send it to you guys, and, you know, I have it. And then Mrs. Boonchuy was like, oh, that was really responsible for you, Anne. And obviously thinking, Sprig's like, is that a robot? And in a way, is that a robot? A little bit. Is that a robot? Sprig, now everything's a robot. How about this thing? Okay, fine, but nothing else. It's like a toy robot. That's pretty funny. You see, Frobo, and the evil Frobos, basically. Oh, I forgot something. Because I didn't have a clip of it, I almost forgot, but when Anne basically, when they were about to leave the house, and then Anne's like, don't worry, the market will be easy peasy because at least nothing will be here to kill us. We get back to King Andreas, and we see some Frobos, evil Frobos guarding the castle. If I didn't mention the evil Frobos, would I have remembered? Maybe even later in the video, maybe. Who knows? And then obviously see some evil Frobos guarding the castle, and obviously King Andreas is kind of looking at his like screen. There's only one obstacle on my way to conquering Earth, and Boonchuy. Because the way he says Boonchuy is really cool. He summons blue Frobo, I guess, like light blue Frobo with the lanky arms. He's like, okay, I need you to have a task. You see this gem right here? I need you to trace its signature, and that's gonna bring it to Anne Boonchuy. I want you to kill her for me. And okay, and like it's also get me to the newest Cynthia Coven book. And Marcy got me hooked onto it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, he's like a nerd. He wants the book. Okay. And some sort of potato chips that Marcy talked about. He wants the potato chips. And he's like, destroy potato chips? And he's like, never mind, forget about the chips. Just get the book, destroy the girl. Okay. And then King Aaron just teleports Lanky there. And he even turns invisible. Oh, he can kind of cloak. That's kind of interesting. And he's got destruction everywhere. And that's where we get to the marketplace. And then obviously Anne's like, oh, here's the list. And then, okay, can I take the planters to get some noodles? And they're kind of worried, like, I don't want you to stray away again. Don't worry, do you know where the noodle place is? And I'll call you if there's any trouble. And if you get worried, you can call me. I have my phone here. It's fully charged. I'm sure she fully charged it. That'd be kind of irresponsible. You didn't do that immediately when you get home. But it's fully charged. And I'll keep an eye on the planters. And I won't get any iced tea, even though I love it. Because it makes me jittery and nervous, basically. And then Mrs. Boonchuy was like, that sounds fair. And then obviously you see, even Polly said, I want to get a lottery ticket. And it's like, no, you're not doing that. Hop Up tries to, even Hop Up tried to get like a dairy fruit because he's like, oh, look at these tiny vegetables. He's looking at a tomato. This thing used to eat me. And you try to open like a durian fruit. And obviously this lady comes like, who the heck is this guy? And it's like a durian first timer. And she kind of laughs. He's like rubbing his face like, oh my goodness, it smells so bad. If you watch the Ghost and Mom McGee episode where Grandma Nin brought the durian, yeah, you understand. And if you experienced it for yourself or seen other people experience it. What was I talking about? So I'm kind of going out of order and just remembering stuff. Let's see. Polly with the lottery ticket, Hop with the durian. Right, and then obviously Polly's going off somewhere. She got Sprig and Polly. She got Hop from going to like the freezer. And it's like, no. And then Mrs. Boonchuy was like, hey, I guess the old frog was right after all, and is becoming responsible. Like, come on, Mama wants some jasmine tea. Oh, okay. And then you see the doors open. Oh, something. Did something walk in there? And obviously someone's like, oh, the stupid doors. And then we see something like move around. It's the lanky robot, like whatever it's called. We didn't get like a full name yet. And obviously they get the noodles, and then she is obviously a whiz at carrying stuff. And he's like, I gave you a tray. I guess she didn't need it. And he's like, you're like, noodles. And he's like, here are the noodles. Asian fusion's heart and soul, basically. And they kind of eat it, and they're like, whoa. Because they thought it was worms at first, but like, no, it's noodles. And they're like, ooh, this is really good, Anne. And they're kind of slurping it. Oh my goodness. And they're obviously enjoying it. They're having a good time. Then, obviously, these magnets. It's like there's like a Mario magnet. It brings the robot off the cloaking device. Obviously, Sprig looks at it, and obviously, like turns back to cloaking form. And Sprig's like, robot, kill a robot. And then Anne kind of like, And it seems like a tiny doll robot thing. And Anne's like, Sprig, not everything is a killer robot. It grabs Anne. Oh, Anne, we'll save you. Sprig throws this soup like at it, and then it obviously turns back to normal. Knocks Sprig out. Hop tries to fight it with some flour bags. It doesn't work, and then because obviously the guy's wearing headphones, he's not noticing. He's like, people go crazy for those noodles, and he's to clean up the mess. They are trying to fight it, but obviously, King Andreas said to the robot, do not get caught by any human civilians other than Anne, because we don't want the human government to be onto us. We want the invasion to be a surprise, basically. So obviously when this old lady comes by, he obviously hides. Because, I guess the robot doesn't want to be caught either. Also something. They escape from the robot, they head over to Mr. and Mrs. Boonchuy, and he's like, hey guys, how was the noodles? And it's like, so good. she's all nervous and stuff. And they're okay. We'll just be going to get some stuff, and it's like, oh, I can get this fish for you guys. Oh, great, and it's like, okay, we'll get the fish later. We got to deal with this robot. And it's like, oh, I need to turn up some tunes so they don't. It blocks out like the noise of the robots. Basically, they turn up the music. It's like rocker music. It's pretty cool. They're finding out the robot and stuff. They're throwing flower backs at it so we can see it, even though it goes invisible. Basically, cloaking. Basically. Obviously, Mrs. Boonchuy's like, this is my jam, and Mr. Boonchuy's like, yeah, and they're kind of jamming to it. It's pretty funny, and they're kind of attacking with brooms and stuff like that. And what was it? Oh yeah, they kind of pushed it back, and the plant just go inside the freezer, and it's like, oh right, frogs, amphibians, because they're frozen basically, and then she's trying to fight off it, the robot. And obviously the plant is trying to help. Dude, they like slide, basically. I'm assuming they're only doing that because this cold temperature is as cold as amphibian winter. That's why they're able to move a little bit. I'm just guessing on that. And obviously, the robots are kind of noticing like this sort of attack. And it's about to blast them. And it's like, no. And then, even Polly's like, oh, I'm sorry, it was Hop Hop. Say, oh, can you use your blue powers, basically? And then Polly's like, powers. And it's like, I don't know how to control it. And Polly's like, boo. And taps into her powers. And does like a big energy fist and boom. And it obviously escapes because it's all like, I need repairs, basically. I need repairs. And he basically leaves. Sorry, I'm mumbling my words. He basically leaves. And obviously you kind of like, calms down. She grabs the fish that she was supposed to get from the freezer, and obviously, she's like moving the planters out so they can de-thaw. Sorry, not de-thaw. So they can thaw. So they can thaw, and obviously she kind of passes out, and obviously they block out, and Hop Hop's such a good grandpa. He's like, oh my goodness, Anne, you have to snap out of it before the Boonchuy see. Like, oh my goodness, like, this looks so bad. And then Polly's like, is she okay? And then, yeah, I think those powers take a lot out of her. And the Spirit's like, I got an idea. Durian to the rescue. And then, oh my goodness, it smells so bad. It woke her up. Oh, jeez. And it's like, oh, yay, we're done. We got the fish. Oh, yeah, we got the rest of the groceries. Is it Anne? You became so responsible. We're so proud of you. And then, obviously, Anne the plant is laughing so loudly. Anne's like, oh my goodness, stop it, you guys. And then, obviously, oh, you guys will be able to go out more often since this was a success. Okay, cool. You got all this stuff. And then, obviously, Hop Hop is such a good grandpa. I'm going to say that like a million times. He's like, Anne, are you sure you're okay? Like, you didn't look too good back there. And he's like, I'm fine, Hop Hop. Thank you. You don't need to worry. I appreciate it. And I just, even though it seems like a lot's going on, it's really not that much. I just need to make up with my two best friends, save Amphibia, defeat the king, learn how to control my powers without passing out. And then, obviously, Sprig's like, obviously, Anne's like, don't worry, I can handle it. And this is foreshadowing, maybe. Can you guys open the door? My arms are not moving. I'm like, oh boy. And Sprig's like, don't worry, as long as that cloaking robot doesn't come back, we'll be a-okay. And then Anne's like, you gotta stop saying stuff like that, Sprig. Obviously, obviously, Mr. Boonchuy says something in Thai, like, oh, anyone want dinner? Like, I forgot, it was like ramen or something. And then the plant is like, noodles. We get to the end of the episode where we see cloaking robot. It's like, oh, I shall terminate the girl when I get my repairs finished. And he's by like a gargoyle statue with lightning. Okay. And that's the end of the episode. The credits, they're not bad. I love it, but I wish it was the violins, the fiddles, like the banjos, that type of music. Because you could have had them on the roof of Anne's house with the sun setting, or on the bridge, or something, like but they chose this popping type of thing, like boom, 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 boom. Kind of reminds me of the Amazing World of Gumball. It's awesome end credits, but it's not Amphibia. I know they're on Earth, but it just doesn't feel the authentic Amphibia I know. Excuse me. So yeah, it was kind of, you know. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. Basically, of episode 1. What should I rate it? Let me see. Let's see, 95. Hmm, 90. Hmm, 85. Sorry, I was just like, going over some things, some flaws. And like, am I being too harsh? I'm not being too harsh. That kind of thing. Because I was doing other stuff that was kind of before. Like it's been like a little bit since I like, reviewed an episode because I was doing like other stuff with like the theme song and stuff like that. But after consideration, I'm giving this an 80. It was a great episode. Some days I would have liked better. Just some like the whole 5 months thing, even though I wanted to be 6. The whole and the whole thing with like Marcy's death and Anne doesn't think Marcy's dead. That thing that carried out throughout season 3, like that kind of bugged me. And just as other things I kind of mentioned, that's why this is an 80. It's great. It's not fantastic, but it is great. You know, it was almost landing to the good area, but again, some things are kind of being I think it was kind of being like a little bit too harsh. But yeah, everyone. Anyway, everyone, don't forget to. Sorry, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Give me a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video. And I'll see you guys later today for episode 2, which is called Hop to Drop and Turning Point, or they'll happen tomorrow. Because I need to see my battery I need to see my battery for my laptop. But I'll see you guys then. Okay? Bye.